Go with me.
Yep.
Thank you.
Start recording. Good evening, everybody. Before we start the meeting,
Good evening.
say again. I need to read a paragraph here we have to read before every meeting. The town of Lunenburg, in response to the COVID-19 coronavirus, is currently following the guidance from the Lunenburg Board of Health, Massachusetts Department of Public Health, and the CDC regarding the virus and steps communities can take to prevent the spread, and all town facilities are open by appointment only. In accordance with the governor's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 20, all public meetings are being conducted remotely. This meeting will be recorded and be able to be found on the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel within 24 hours after the meeting. The following information is also provided for members of the community that would like to participate in the meeting remotely. To participate remotely from a computer, please use the link below to join a public meeting webinar. And the Zoom ID is 865-944-24103. Or from a telephone, dial the toll-free number 888-475-4499 and enter the webinar ID 865-9442-4103. If you have not registered with Zoom, you will be asked for your name and email address. No participant ID is needed, just press pound when asked. Telephone users may dial *9 to request to speak after joining the meeting. Computer and app users may use the raise hand feature to request to speak. This agenda lists all the topics which may be discussed at the meeting and are those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of these discussions. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, or other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by the open meeting law. I have to ask if there's any public comment. I don't see anybody in the waiting room, so I'll wait a minute or two. What I'd like to do, I don't see anybody, so what I'd like to do is on the agenda where we need to approve the minutes of February 18th. I'd like to skip over that because Rob needs to join another meeting at 7 o'clock. So I'd rather jump to that and not take up too much of his time. I wanted to invite Rob, and I intend on inviting him any meetings we have to share any updates he has, and we can share our concerns. I think it's important that we keep the communication open. So Rob, if you have anything you'd like to share with us, you go right ahead.
Sure. So as you know, the project at the garage building at the North Cemetery is just about coming to an end. The building's nearly complete with just final finishing touches. The area around the building's been graded, loamed, and it's been hydroseeded. The area immediately adjacent to the building had a compacted material put down, and it was rolled out. So Todd's got a nice pattern on the building for storage. The container that's out there will eventually get moved back there. So things are going along nicely there. The plans for the parking at the North Cemetery, it was last week I received an update on those plans. I had a couple of items that I wanted our engineer to address and make a couple of minor revisions. I have not seen those yet, so what I'll probably do is contact him tomorrow just to make sure we're going to get those soon, because we do have to get it out for some bids to do that, because the grant money that town manager had secured has a June deadline. So we got to get that going. Other than that, I don't have any other updates for you. I know on your agenda, you've got the North Cemetery hedges. I don't have an update for you on those yet. We'll at some point reach out to see if we can get an updated quote to complete that work. I know it came out well at the South Cemetery. Other than that, I don't really have many updates for you. Other than Todd is now out. He was out in South Cemetery today, getting flags up on the veterans headstones, and we'll be at the same time cleaning up any brush sticks that have come down out of the trees. With the goal, as you know, from Memorial Day, have all the cemeteries ready to go for the summer season. So that's where he stands on that. He's working hard, and I think we'll be in good shape.
Well, it sounds good. Thank you for that. I had on the cemetery parking lot, I'm just trying to envision in my mind, I know the whole process, but it seems like it's really like a tight window here to get this done.
Yeah, it is a tight window. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Bill. In fact, I was going to contact Heather. She's out. She's away this week, taking a well-deserved vacation. But I was thinking about asking her on the grant money that she obtained, if she can write to the agency that we secured that from, to see if we get an extension of time, knowing that we're working towards getting it done, and it's going to be coming in tight. So I'm gonna reach out to her about that, and hopefully that won't be an issue.
Yeah, because we'd hate to lose that money because we can't, because like I say, once you put it out to bid, I mean, it's gonna, like I say, it's gonna be made shortly. So
yeah, no, I agree with you, and it's something in the back of my head. I know that it's coming up, so I keep thinking about it. So that's what my next step will be, and I'll talk to Heather about that and see if she can do that. And if not, we'll just keep plugging along. And I'm hoping that the estimate on the work comes in such that we can just reach out and get some quotes to do it, and not necessarily have to go out for a full-blown bid on the project. So I don't know how that's going to work just yet, because I don't have an estimate from the engineer. I've asked them for that. So we'll see. But in the meantime, we'll keep plugging away. And once I have those plans, I'll at least reach out to a couple of contractors to get their thoughts on price, and if we can do it without going out to bid, but just getting quotes for it, we'll do it that way.
yeah, that'd be helpful if we could do it that way. That way, just if you could reach out to them without having to go through the bid process, it would save some time for sure.
Yep, nope, absolutely. As long as we get the appropriate number of quotes and pick the low one, I think we'll be fine. But again, I'll have that conversation with town manager and make sure we're moving ahead the way we should be.
Okay. The one issue I wanted to just touch base on the Goodrich Street Cemetery, that we had the trees taken down. I'm hoping we have enough money left in the outsourced maintenance account, maybe to at least do the stump grinding before July. I don't know if you've received the bill for the tree work yet. I don't know how much we have left.
Now that you mention it, I haven't seen an invoice for that come in yet. So I would imagine it will be coming soon, because I know they want to get paid.
Yeah. But it would be nice to at least get that, that done, that part of it done. And then, but I realize, I understand Todd needs to be in the cemeteries right now. So that's going to have to be put off a little bit. But I mean, the stump grinding, he doesn't necessarily have to be there for all of that.
Right. And I do know, as far as, Todd's workload, I know he has a number of cremations that are going to be done. He's actually had at least one or two people reach out about the niche wall, and I believe he made a sale recently. So he's been busy.
Yeah, he has. This is kind of crunch time. Everything is coming together quick. The only thing I had, I think Nancy had something she wanted to ask you about about something. But before I ask her about it, there's this. We want to kind of see if we can have a conversation at some point. Don't have to have it right now. But one of the comments we get about the cemetery a lot is a condition of the grass, and we've talked about this before. So I'm hoping that we could somehow come up with a program to treat the cemeteries with grub control. That's a primary problem right now. There's so much grub damage there that it doesn't make any sense to try and even plant grass right now and try and restore it, because there's so much grub damage. And I'm hoping we could maybe come up with some kind of a plan to maybe not attack the whole cemetery, but sections of it that are worse. I'm talking about after July. I'm not talking about now, but
yep.
After we have a new maintenance budget. I'm hoping we can work out something like that.
Yeah, and one of the first things I noticed about the cemeteries was the condition of the grass. And, ultimately, I'd love to have a program in place that, not only is treating for the grubs and hopefully getting rid of them, overseeding, fertilizer, really get the lawns into good shape. So that's kind of something that's been in the back of my head. I'd like to see that happen over time. It's not going to happen overnight, but I think with town manager helping us to hopefully secure more funds for the cemetery budget on my side of things, we can start to do some of those. So yeah, I think that's definitely, I hadn't thought about the grubs, so that's a good point. Obviously, it would be great to treat for those first and then go from there. But I
Right.
I like that idea, Bill.
Yeah, because it's like I say, it's going to have to be done in stages. I mean, it's too big of an area to attack at one time, and I mean, what I would envision is treating for the grubs and maybe, overseeding in the fall, and that's the best time to put the grass seed down when you can't water it. So that would be my thought, would be to do it that way. But we can talk about it, as the summer goes on.
Yep, and I can certainly look into it and maybe speak with a couple landscape contractors and get their thoughts and maybe get someone out there to take a look at it and see what their approach would be.
Yeah. Is there any other members of the commission have any questions for Rob?
Yes. Rob, this is Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi. Hey, I just wanted to kind of reiterate with what Bill had just said. Bill and I have been talking, or I've been talking because I walk there every day. I think the one thing, if you're in agreement, if Bill and you and Todd are in agreement, is making something out just on Facebook, telling the community that, again, you can't do this all at once. We have to look into this, what it's going to take, what you to do, how to do it, the money aspect of it, but just let the community know that it's in the plan. If it's a 3-year plan, if it's a 5-year plan, something, because I think the community might take a deep breath and say, oh, okay, we know it's not fixed yet, but they are going to look forward to get that turned back around.
Sure. Why don't we do this? What's
your thought on that?
I have no problem doing that. Let's come up with a plan first. I think once we do that, I'd hate to put it out on Facebook only to be peppered with questions that I can't answer. So I'd rather get that plan, at least, an outline in place so we know what we're going to do and what the plan is with a time frame. And but no, that's certainly a good idea. I know a lot of people are interested in the condition of the cemetery, so it would be nice to pass that along. So yeah, we can certainly include that in whatever we come up with.
Or whatever mechanism you guys think is best. I mean, it doesn't have to be Facebook. I just mentioned that, but again, I just, letting the community know, and again, that that there is a plan that, again, once we outline it, so on and so forth, around that's done. The other piece with that, again, you and I had talked about this regarding the roads in through there, is, again, it doesn't have to be now, but if you can take the time, and I talked about this at the last meeting, I think, and look at where the cracks are getting bigger and bigger in that cemetery. What your thoughts are, again, look at a plan for that. Doesn't have to be today, but again, I think in the future, is it better, again, ahead of those cracks now before they get bigger and bigger, and what your thought is regarding that.
I missed the first part of that. You're talking about the cracks in the asphalt?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we did talk about that. Yeah. So I haven't necessarily paid a lot of attention to those while I've been out there, but we can assess the condition of the roads and, where, how do we address the condition and, what's the best course of action. So I can certainly get that on my list of things to do.
Okay. And then one last feature is and again, it's only because I walk there every day that I see these things. Some of the walls are starting to come down. Not badly, but there's a few that I've noticed this winter after I've come back from the south that they're literally falling over on certain areas. And again, is that something we want to get to sooner rather than later?
I mean, ideally, you don't want to put them off too long to let the condition get too poor.
Right,
I can talk to Todd about it. Hopefully we can get those two seasonal positions filled or approved at town meeting, and then maybe filled for the remainder of this fiscal year. That would certainly be a good job for a crew to be doing, rather than just Todd, or trying to get Todd some help to do some of those repairs. So
right.
it maybe not soon, but hopefully, and maybe we'll see after, Memorial Day, once Todd gets into his normal routine with the grounds at the cemeteries. Maybe he'll have a little time to at least approach some of the ones that are worse off at this time. So I can have that conversation
Right.
with him.
Okay. And the other thing, just so you know, the Boy Scouts are always looking for something. So if that's something that would be, Bill and I talked about that, a possibility, if that's ever, an option.
Certainly, I would never turn volunteers away.
Okay.
One resource that we have that I know I'm fairly certain he would be more than willing to help, even if he had to show someone, instruct someone. There's a master stonemason in town by the name of Richard McGrath, and he's the individual that's going to build a stone wall at the Goodrich Street Cemetery at some point. And he always volunteers his time. He doesn't want any payment for it. So I think he'd be more than happy to either do the work himself or instruct someone how to do it, as far as the stone walls. Because there is sort of an art to it. It's
Oh,
not just a
certainly.
matter, it's not just a matter of throwing the stones back up there. So that's something I can certainly approach him about that. I know he's more than willing to donate his time for that. So that's an option as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I would, knowing he's probably a very talented guy with that kind of work, then if he was willing to volunteer, I'd certainly accept that.
Yeah.
Great.
Unless anybody has anything else for Rob, I appreciate your time. And like I say, I hopefully at some point we can meet in person instead of these Zoom meetings. And like I say, I'd like to, I'm always going to invite you. Sometimes you can make it, sometimes you can't, but you'll always get invited.
I appreciate it, and I'll try and be here whenever I can.
Thanks, Rob.
All right. Good night, folks.
Take care.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Next, we skipped over the minutes of the February meeting. Let me just read them quickly and then we can move on. February 18th, 2021, the meeting was called to order at 4 p.m. by Chair Tyler, Commissioners Yasko and Mendoza present, along with DPW Director Oliver. First order of business was the discussion and vote on the Commission's FY22 appropriation at this year's town meeting. Chairman Tyler explained our annual expenses are relatively the same, with the only exception being the improvement at the Goodrich Family Burial Yard at the corner of Fish and Lincoln Streets, and the cost of the field stones to continue the wall on two sides to enclose the yard. Labor is being donated by Richard McGrath, along with 2 granite posts and an iron gate. The cost of these stones is approximately $5,500. Chairman Tyler recommended appropriating the sum of $1,500 to fund our operating costs for FY22. A motion was made by Commissioner Yasko to appropriate the sum of $15,000 from the sale of lots account at this spring's annual town meeting. It was duly seconded by Commissioner Mendoza, and a roll call vote was unanimous to proceed with a warrant article for that amount. A brief discussion ensued on the progress at the building site, and all agreed that Monty Tech is doing a great job considering the weather and the time they have actually been there. The North Cemetery parking lot expansion was discussed and the conceptual plans were reviewed. DPW Director Oliver updated the commission on the process going forward with the bidding of the job. Once the final plan is complete and a cost estimate is provided, the project will go out to bid. This project, because of the funding source, needs to be completed by the end of the fiscal year. The commissioners all agreed that the plan looks fine and gave Director Oliver the approval to go ahead with the final plans. With no further business before the commission, a motion was made to adjourn, duly seconded, and by roll call vote was voted to adjourn at 4:50 PM. Respectfully submitted, William Tyler, Chairman. Can I get a motion to accept the minutes as read?
I make a motion that you
Motion
accept
accepted.
the,
Second,
I'll second it, Nancy. Yes, go.
okay, all in favor, Nancy,
Aye.
Lorraine,
yes.
and I for myself. The next item is discussion on the final stages of the cemetery building project. The FY '22 expense for the final grading, I'm sorry, including the FY '22 expense for final grading from Powell Construction. Like Rob said, the building is, for all intents and purposes, done. There's some, at least the building is. Because Powell was available, they agreed to do the grading work around the building. And they're not going to, they don't expect to get paid until after July 1st, which is fine because we wouldn't have enough money to pay for anyway. So, but it was very nice of them to do that. So that's going to come in at $5,900, and that includes the crushed asphalt or whatever they call it, that they put around the building and compacted it, and it includes all the loam. That was done, and we also had Lakeview come in and hydro seed the area that's loamed. Todd had thought about seeding it himself, but seeing that we don't have any irrigation or any water at the building, we thought it was prudent to go ahead with the hydro seeding because it's a much more efficient way of growing grass when you don't have any water source, because it's got moisture in it, and it kind of makes it's almost like a mud over it that kind of holds the moisture in. So the grass grows a lot quicker that way. So that's basically the stages on the building right now. After July, when Todd has some help, they're gonna empty the container and move it to the back of the building and clear out all the front. Everything that's out there is going to be gone or put away somewhere. So the front of the building will look much different than it looks now. Anybody have any comments on that? Want to discuss that?
How much was the hydro seed? Was that 700?
Yeah.
And that's on this time. I mean, we don't have to wait to pay that in July, right? We pay that now.
No, that's going to be paid. That'll be paid next month or so forth. Because after all
Okay.
well, one of the next agenda item is to discuss the vouchers and paying all the bills for the building. But well, I'll get to that when we get to that. But no, yeah, you're right. The
Okay.
hydro seed is going to be paid shortly.
Okay.
Um,
And once they get the container and everything moved, can we relook at that area to see what else would look good there, meaning how to make it look better at that point in time? Because we don't know what it's going to look like until everything's out of there. Would you agree?
You mean the front of it? You mean the front?
Yeah,
You mean, okay, yeah.
right where everything's setting right now.
Yeah, no, I think what I talked to Todd about it briefly, and once everything's out of there, he's just gonna, clean it up and seed it. And,
Oh,
it'll
okay.
be, it'll be seeded. I mean, it won't be hydro seeded, but he has some seed so it'll just be seeded probably in the fall. And, it's not gonna come up. Again, the problem remains that you can't water it. So we're kind of at the
Right.
mercy of Mother Nature for that goes, you know. So,
Bill, two questions.
sure.
The bricks in the front, what are they gonna be used for?
I guess we're just gonna store them for now. Those were left over from the mausoleum.
Oh,
So I guess we're just gonna store them or either bring them to the DPW or something. I don't know really what else we can do with them. We don't really have a use for them right now, but we'll do something with them. I'm sure.
and the paving that they're gonna do at the cemetery, are they gonna include the paving for in front of the building that they have there for storage? There's a paved area, a half circle. Is that gonna be part of is that gonna be paved also?
You're talking about in front of the new building?
In front of the new building, that half circle,
Yeah,
The half
no, that's,
is that
that's
gonna
gonna
be
be, that'll be done at a later date.
at a later date?
That's not included with the parking lot plan. That's something that we do. We'll get to at some point. It's probably gonna have to be repaved at some point, obviously, because it's all cracked, but that's gonna be probably, you know, another year or so before we get to that.
Okay,
I apologize for not, I think you know everybody on the commission, so I apologize for not introducing you, but I think you know everybody anyway.
I do, and I just went online and found out that Oliver, what's his first name?
Rob,
Bob. Yeah, he used to work for a guy that I worked with years ago,
oh,
Fred
oh,
Hamway and
oh,
so I'll get to meet with him later.
it's a small world.
Yes, very much so.
So, all right, so moving on, why don't we go to, I sent you guys the, I believe I sent you guys the copy of the voucher with all the amounts on them.
Yeah.
You guys have those?
I do.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me just go over it line by line, just for the formality of it, so everybody knows what's being spent on what. The first item for Todd Holman is 187.69. That was when the students from Monty Tech were at the building. We bought them donuts every day they were there. And the last day we bought them some pizza. So they were very happy about that. In fact, I think that was probably the highlight of their day was every time Todd showed up with donuts. The next big item is Mackey, $5,777.98, and that represents all the building materials for the building, lumber, roofing. The next item is Doors Unlimited for $866.15, which is the side door. Garage Doors Unlimited is for the front door of $4,600. Needham Electric, $2,276.19. That is the material for all the electrical that was done in the building, the wiring, the plugs, the lights. The next item is Monty Tech for $648.63, which represents the cost of the siding for the building. Mackey's didn't have the green siding we wanted, so and the company that had them, we don't have an account with, the town doesn't have an account with, so Monty Tech bought it. So we have to reimburse Monty Tech for that amount. And the last item is Casella, which is the dumpster there for $67.29. So that totals up $14,423.93. Is there any discussion on that amount? Any comments? I'm seeing none. And the next item is D&G Graphics of $512 for the cemetery department sign that's on the building now. At one point, we had anticipated trying to restore the old sign, but it's in such bad condition, and it wasn't, it just wasn't worth the effort because it's an old tin sign and it was rusted, and we don't want to have something we have to maintain. So the sign is it's a metal sign, but it's enclosed in plastic, so it'll last for a very, very long time. So if I could have a motion to pay these vouchers for the amount of $14,423.93 and $512.
I make a
I make a
motion.
motion that you.
That's okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Lorraine. I'll just second yours. That's all right.
I make a motion that you pay these bills.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All right, all in favor, Nancy,
Aye.
Lorraine,
Aye.
and I for myself. What I'm gonna do is I will track you guys down at some point maybe this weekend to get your John Hancock's on the voucher so I can hand them in. So we can get those paid. Right now, at the moment, we have $1,108.67 left in our capital account for the expenses appropriation that we do at the town meeting. So $700 is going to come out of that for the hydro seeding. So we're going to be left with about $400 until July, but there's no anticipation of any kind of expense between now and then. And I'm just happy that we were, under budget and we didn't go over. There were some items that came in less than we thought. Some came in more, but it was all a washout and at the end, and we did okay. So I'm happy about that. All right.
And Lance would be happy for that too.
Yeah, I think he would too. I think Lancy would be happy with everything we've done over there. I think if not to be make light of anything, but I think if if Lance was unhappy about anything, I think he'd let somebody know in some way.
Absolutely.
Okay, the next item, this is just a discussion and not anything we're going to vote on or take any action on, but there's an issue with North Cemetery with some dog owners, or I'd say very irresponsible dog owners that are letting their dogs relieve themselves in the cemetery, in some cases on monuments or around monuments, and it's becoming a problem there. We've isolated an area where one particular dog seems to go at the same time, and we put a sign there, and I don't know, it's a tough situation. I don't know what the solution would be. The very last thing I want to do would be to close the cemeteries to dogs, because I know a lot of people enjoy that for exercise for the dogs, and it just seems to be a very isolated problem. It doesn't ever happen in South Cemetery for whatever reason. But I think it's just an isolated instance with one or two people. So I'll just open it up to anybody who wants want to make any comments on it, and see what anybody has any ideas. We can try and curtail this problem.
My only idea, which you and I, we've discussed before, is either get another camera, borrow the camera like what we did before, put it up again, or get a sign that basically says that, you're being monitored, or the police are coming, something that just understands that they're being watched. Not to say again that we're still going to catch them or catch this person who's doing this.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's no one can be in the cemetery all the time. So and it's just a very difficult situation to police. I
Well,
put,
and the funny part is the days that we've seen it is the day after I've just been there, meaning from the time spot of me leaving to someone coming, because we know from that time frame before, there was nothing there. So that's the weird part, is trying to figure out the timing of when the person or dog is coming in.
yeah. I mean, I put statements out on Facebook, and you know, everybody's appalled that it happens, but I mean, I don't, it's just, and I've, you know, asked people, you know, don't be afraid to say something to somebody. I mean, I would think that most responsible dog owners would say something to another one that saw that. I would hope they would, anyway. But,
I think
mean,
so.
Is it a particular issue that you're having with one grave or a number of graves, or what's the issue?
Well, there's one area down towards the back of the cemetery, towards the swamp area, that along the stone wall, that one particular dog seems to take a liking to.
Right.
And, his owners apparently don't have a problem with just have him do his duty down there and just leave it there. And that's the issue, basically. It's I mean, it's gonna happen once in a while. I mean, I don't care, you know, but it just seems to be a recurring place. And I believe, not that I'm an expert on dog excrement, but it appears to be the same dog all the time.
So we know the dog. Have we contacted Cormier Animal Control and have her go talk to the owner?
Well, no, well, the thing of it is, we don't know who it is.
Oh, you don't know the owner?
No, we know, we're fairly confident that it's the same dog and the same owner, but we've never caught them, so we don't know who it is. That's the problem.
Okay. So we really need one camera back in that area set up someplace for a month or so to find out which animal
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
Have,
I think I'll,
have we found out the price on doing 1 month of a camera back in that area on the tree?
well, I think Todd knows someone that has a camera that he's put up there before. So I think I'll ask him again to put it up again and leave it there for a month or so and see what happens. You know, maybe we can luckily we'll get a vehicle with a license plate or something like that. That'd be ideal, you know. Like I say, it doesn't happen all the time, but when it happens a few times, and it just, you know, it's very disrespectful, you know, for that to happen there anywhere, but especially in the cemetery.
I don't know if you'll get the vehicle license plate because most of the vehicles are parking up in the gravel area and then walking the dog. So you probably need 2 cameras. You need one for the area that the dog is doing its job, and then another one for the area where the cars are to find out what car is there at the time.
Yeah.
But
well, like I say, it's to the best of my knowledge, Nancy's in the cemetery every day and walks by there. I mean, I haven't seen any more recently. Have you, Nancy?
I mean, I've cleaned, so in the beginning, when I first came back, what did I tell you? I cleaned up 7 or 8 poops in that area. So I got that all cleaned up so we could go back to nothing. Todd put down the sign and someone picked that up. Now, whether or not it was a Good Samaritan that did it, or it was a person who had done it. I can pretty much tell that it's the same dog because of the way that, I hate to say it, but the poo is laid out. And you can pretty much tell it's a big dog. We're not talking a little Susie dog. So with that being said, now that we've had the sign out there, the last time that Todd put out, there is no one that has picked up that poo. In fact, I have a bag out there that I put a rock on top of it, like here's a bag, pick up the poo. So, and I don't want to be the poo police.
Well, that's already been designated your job. So we have a badge.
Yeah,
for
I
you,
know. I know. Good.
Well, it's just something
But
we'll
no,
just have
I
to
mean,
monitor.
like we said, most everybody in that cemetery that I've talked to, and I've, said it enough, the same thing, is if you see something, please let us know. It won't, call you, tell you about it, whatever. But, most people are really, really good in that cemetery.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think you're right. I just would hate to think it's anybody from anybody that has anybody buried in that cemetery. I mean, to me, that's about as disrespectful as you can get, you know?
Right.
But we'll monitor it and I put it on the agenda because I thought we want to talk about it. The last thing I have is,
Todd, though, to see. Oh, I'm sorry. You're going to talk to Todd to see if he can, I know it's a dog walker that has that camera. I can't think of the guy's name right now, but
yeah, okay, I'll ask him.
that's who you'll talk to. Okay.
The last thing I have on the agenda is I'm going to draft a letter to Monty Tech, a letter of thanks for their unbelievable help in constructing this building. We did it. I guess they did it when they built the mausoleum, but I think that's the least we can do is send them a letter of thanks. I mean, they're going to be noted on the bronze plaque, but I still think a personal letter thanking them would be appropriate. So I'll put that together and send that out to you guys, and because they really saved us. Yeah, they really saved us I mean, I can't even contemplate how much money that building would have cost us without those kids doing it. I mean, it took a while to get it done, but really, when you think about it, in January, all it was there was cement blocks, and within a couple of months, it was done. And then they worked through the snow and the cold, and I have nothing but praise for that whole school and their program. I mean, it's an amazing resource the town has to get that done. I mean, they do good work, and the kids are polite. They're always polite. It's really a great program. I'm glad we were able to utilize it.
Do you have the names of the kids?
I do not. No. I know all the names. I know all the names of the instructors, but we don't have the names of the kids.
Because it might be nice for you, instead of one letter to the school, to do some sort of award. You can print them off of your printer. I can print them off and put the name of the person on there and give awards out to each of the kids in appreciation to what they did. It's just something to think about.
Yeah. I know that they were hesitant about anybody taking pictures of them while they were there. I think that's probably like a privacy thing. They didn't want any pictures.
Right.
So I'm not sure how that would work, but it's something to think about.
Is
Anybody else?
there anything in the future? Is there anything in the future that we could, and I don't know if this is even, if you could do this, but is there like something we could give money to for them somehow? Under the cemetery commission, or is that just,
You
is
mean
that
like a
get
scholarship?
to, yeah,
Yeah, I suppose I suppose you could. I don't know. Yeah, something to think about too. We can think about that too,
I don't know if there's any rules against it or not. That's what I don't know. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, I don't know. We'd have to look into it and see. Maybe you can investigate and see. It's just something we could do
Okay.
like that. All right, does anybody have anything else they want to talk about, or anything else?
Just one last thing, and I didn't hear the DPW. When the North Cemetery hedges, when are they supposed to be done?
That's going to be done after July 1st. Every July 1st, or I should say, last year was the first year we got an actual maintenance appropriation from the town for anything that's outsourced that we don't handle, like the
Right.
hedges, and tree cutting. Before that, generally, historically, the cemetery commission paid for all those things.
Okay.
So after a lot of discussions and cooperation with the DPW director, they decided to come up with a $10,000 maintenance budget every year that we can use for that type of item. So South Cemetery was done last year. That was taken out of that. Trees were cut down at the Goodrich family yard over on Fish Street. I don't know if you're familiar where that is.
No,
It's on the corner of Lincoln Street and Fish Street near Cherry Hill.
okay,
There's a cemetery there. That's a town cemetery as well. We had some trees taken down that came out of that. And North Cemetery, the hedges there are going to be taken out of that. So, $10,000 is not a huge amount of money when you talk about projects like that, but at least the town is stepping up and helping us out with those type of things.
good. Okay,
The other thing is I tentatively have a date of May 20th for the next meeting, but I may change that because I don't know. The town election is on May 15th, and I'm assuming, Dave, that you're elected. I don't know if anybody else is running. But
I haven't heard.
yeah, so I mean, assuming you get in, I don't have any reason to think you won't. In order to participate in the meeting, you'd have to get sworn in by the town clerk. That doesn't give you much time. So I'm thinking about moving that meeting maybe to the week after that. So I think May 20th doesn't give you much time to get that done. So where it says
Yeah, but
May
is it next
20th,
week? Is it next week Memorial Day, though?
hang on for a second. No, the 27th would be a Thursday.
Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Thursday. That's just a thought. I mean, I don't know, because the 20th is, the 15th is a Saturday. That would mean you would have to get sworn in either Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday of that next week. So I don't want to have you run around trying to get that done. I mean, it's not, if you think you can do it, that's fine, but I can easily move it to the next week.
Okay. Whatever, just
Okay, I'll let you know.
someone will notify me, right?
Yeah. So that's about all I have. What I would like to do now is Lorraine, I'd like to publicly thank you for your 6 years of service on the commission. We're gonna miss you. I miss your smiling face all the time and all the comments you have, and you've been a great addition, a great resource on the commission. I'm really gonna miss you, and I hopefully will see you in the cemeteries back and forth, and we'll run into each other again. And I just wanted to thank you personally and for your service.
Well, it's been a pleasure for me, and I'm going to be driving through the cemeteries frequently anyways, just because it's been a great part of my life.
And Lorraine, I'm sorry, I haven't been able to come see you after us getting back. But I would love to come see you and thank you again for, you kind of took me under your wing too, both you and Bill, and I just want to thank you for that. It's been a pleasure serving with you.
It's been a pleasure working with everybody. It's just been wonderful. It's a great experience.
All right. That being said, I'll accept the motion to adjourn. Anybody?
I make a
Well, a
motion that we
to adjourn, but I
adjourn.
was afraid to let.
What?
That's okay. That's close enough. Both of you made the motion. That's fine. So, all in favor of adjourning at 7:22 PM, Nancy,
Bye.
Lorraine,
Aye.
and I for myself. Well, thank you, everybody, and thank you, Dave, for joining us. And the next time we see you, you'll be on the commission, hopefully.
Okay, thank you.
All right, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good
Night.
night.
Bye, Lorraine.
Bye, Dave.
Bye-bye.